Alright, first things first, here's most of the plugins that I use. Not all of them are probably needed for these presets, but they're good to have nonetheless. So there's going to be 3 parts to this preset pack. There's going to be the like normal presets and then like the project file presets, and then I'm also going to be including a bunch of overlays in this as well. These are all created in After Effects CS6, so they should work for pretty much every version of After Effects. So real quick, I wanted to go over some of the overlays that are in this pack. You got like the classic sparkles that I always like using. We got a bunch of film burn, light leak, bokeh, glitch VHS, line transition, glass leak, overlays. Got a bunch of extra stuff in these folders too. Tons of different glitch stuff to use. Overlays. You can use some of these glitches as like matte or like map layers for glitches. Got some of the classics in here. Got some cool punch hole stuff. These are pretty fun to use. Some transitions and just other random stuff. Fire, gel, ink overlays. Got some cool hearts. There's this one pack that has all these cool like CRT fonts that you can use. Just a bunch of stuff really. And I didn't make any of these. These were all either found on YouTube or like my friends gave them to me or some shit. Hey guys, how's it going? It's been a while, but finally put together another preset pack. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. Alright, let's get started. First preset, just a turbulence displace. Make sure you line up your like center point with whatever your composition is. This next one, 19 TV lighten. I think you can either duplicate your clip or put it on an adjustment layer, it doesn't really matter. Just make sure you change the blending mode to lighten. And it just makes these cool little lines. Yeah, I'll show some examples where I use that. Alright, this next preset is just like a little simple rotation thing. I think you just take the first one, line it up towards the end here, and then grab the second one and throw it on. You can use it with the built-in motion blur, and it's just a little rotation thing. Alright, this next one, I'm not really sure what it is, but it looks kind of cool. It has like random blur and then a deep glow that just turns on. I have no idea what I made this for, but I don't know, it's something. Now these are just like one framers that you can use for glitches. Got 234 glitch, 234 glitch 2 that has velocity remap on it for some reason. Doesn't really matter. Glitch 3, glitch 4. Just one framers. And then ASAP CC, this is just a color correction. I think, yeah, this is the color correction that I've used on like every single one of my edits. Like I don't even bother like finding a different one, I just use the same one over and over again. Like actually. ASAP Sparkle, this one I use on this little sparkle overlay that I have. Just changes the way it looks a bit. You can play with the colors of them and stuff, and if you want, you know, replace like this glow with like deep glow or something. Base, you put on an adjustment layer. It's like just like a dissolve shake, bing bang boom boom. I can show a little example. I think I use these like consecutively, like be like bang and then bang and then bang, something like that. Gives a nice little shakiness to it. I'll show an example of what I made this for, at least. Alright, Big 6-3. You want to put this on an adjustment layer? It's like Big 6-1 and Big 6-2, but there's something different about it. Couldn't tell you what, but it's something. Bloom 2, this one you want to put on an adjustment layer. And it's kind of like a little transition-y thing. It uses shine and some turbulent displace. Make sure that you have your your source and center points to the center of your composition. If you wanted, you could do like a little mask on your subject and invert it and feather it a bit so the effect won't be as strong on your subject or whatever. Alright, this next one, I'm not really sure what it is, but it does look kind of cool. It has like optical flares on it and it flickers out with some textured wipe. Could probably extend this to make it a little better. I don't know, it's cool. Build 2, this is the same one as build in my last preset pack, but it already has the keyframes for the second half, so it's just one thing now, just a little twitch transition. And of course you can go in here and play with the seed of the slide and get different shakes and twitches. CFM Trans. This is the Cry For Me transition I used in I think one of my Twice edits. The lineup should be like that. It's just a little simple shaky transition. Make sure you use motion tile to get rid of the blacks on the side. ComCC, just a color correction. Nothing crazy. Curves, just curves, literally. That's it, that's all you get. DSAT 2, I like using this as a one framer. It's just hue sat bright and some curves on Magic Bullet looks to do that. Dissolve 1, Dissolve 2. I'm not really sure what these are. Probably just dissolve shakes. Oh yeah, it's shaking. Yeah, that thing's shaking. And then there's a second one. Yeah, he's shaking too. That's crazy. Alright, Ditto. I think this is literally just a scale. Yeah. If you want, I guess, fix your anchor points and it just scales out really quickly. That is nice. Does it signal? I actually made this preset on these clips, so that kind of works out. Yeah, the phase is keyframed and they're just random settings for whatever looked good when I was making it. I'll show the edit.
How he does stuck in these fields because I love it.
FE main, I think I use in my after high edit. Just a random bit of effects that I put on the beginning of some of my clips for that edit that I thought looked good. I will show the edit. This next one, extract, probably going to want to duplicate your clip, and then you can go into the extract here and play with the black and white point to select whichever like pixels you want. And then from here, I mean, I guess you could do like glow or like some warp and blur or whatever you want. I'll try and find some examples of how I've used something like this before. Fishbowl. You want to put that on an adjustment layer. It's just kind of like a stylized thing with some flicker, shake, and VHS. An optional signal to cook it up to if you want. Flesh flicker. Probably just a manual flicker. Oh no, it's S-flicker flicker. Yep, that is nice. Foobar. I think this is probably some kind of one framer. If you know what foobar means, that's pretty much what you get. Glitch 1. That is a one framer. Glow fade. Yeah, it kind of like starts glowing and then fading out with some textured wipe. That looks pretty nice. H shake, probably just a horizontal shake. Oh wow, look at that. It's shaking, that's crazy. Heatwave Refugee, it's a heatwave preset. Makes these cool, you know, heat waves. Hollow and Hollow Cool are some Hollow Matrix presets that you can use as one framers or just however you like. Hotel G1 is another one framer, or you could do something else with it. I think this one looks pretty cool. That is nice. Hurt Text is a heatwave preset with turbulence displace and stuff. It adds like this cool heat wavy effect you can put on text. I have Sweep you want to put on an adjustment layer, and it uses light sweep to animate these light bars going across the screen. Also, if you want, you can line up the apex of these graphs with like beats on your song, and it'll sync up and look pretty nice. I'll show some examples. IR is like I wanted it to look like infrared, but it only looks good on certain stuff. I don't know. Itsy Swish, just a simple swish pan transition. And you can go in here and change the direction that you want it to be. I have Glitch. It's another one framer. There's a lot of different effects and values you can play around with in here to make it look really cool and stuff. Yeah. I've Scanlines. Just simple, slightly animated scan lines preset, nothing crazy. I've Signal, as I think I use this on my I Am edit. There are some keyframes for the phase and opacity. I'll show the edit that I use this in. Alright, this next one, I've Zoom. It's just a quick little zoom in preset. Adds like some shake and blur. I've been using this quite a lot, actually. Just make sure that you change the position of your transform to be like centered on whatever you want the zoom to be centered on. I'll show some examples. This next preset, Laser, you can use this to put on almost any like overlay, and it'll just kind of turn them into like little lasers. It works better on some overlays, but you know, just play around, throw it on different stuff, see what happens. It's pretty cool. Light Leak 2. I use this one to put on some of my light leak overlays. They give you like controls for the colors and add some effects to just kind of give it some more life. Luna Volume and Luna Volume 2. These are volumetric transition presets. You want to put them on an adjustment layer, line it up something like this, and then you need to make sure that the origin for the volumetrics starts either on like the left or the right side, and the point of it is it's supposed to like sweep across the screen, so you're gonna have to change those for whatever like resolution you're in. And the second one is the same thing, just probably a little better, but you still have to change your origin. Lucky, this one I believe I would just put it on the beginning of most of my clips for the Lucky edit that I made. Just some little effects, nothing crazy. I'll show the edit. Lucky Edge add. I think you can either duplicate your clip or put it on an adjustment layer, but switch it to add, or maybe screen, or maybe even lighten. This just uses motion detect mainly to add some glowy edges. If you wanted to change like the intensity, you can go into the textured wipe and increase that, and it'll kind of change like the threshold of the glowiness. I use this in the same edit. I'll show where I used it. Alright, lucky text. I think I used on these little text CRT overlay things that I have. It just stylizes it a bit and adds like a shake that you'd probably have to really mess around with the seed to get it to work good, but just a little stylization thing. Alright, Love Story L. This is just a one framer with Glitchify and a bunch of stuff. It has an optional Minimax down here you can turn on. Just make sure if you're not in 4K resolution, you're probably gonna have to go into the transform and fix these values to whatever resolution you're in. Mayday Warp. I use this to make like a drunk type of effect at the end of my Mayday edit. I think it's kind of hard to see here, so I'll just show the example. Alright, Minji Glitch. Just a simple one framer. You'll have to play around with like the curves depending on like the brightness of your clip. Minji Shake. Just a shake preset. Make sure you play with the seed to get a nice low motion. Moon. Just a kind of a color correction. I guess you can just steal it right here, but just changes the colors a bit. Give it a different vibe. MS7. This is a transform shake. You want to put that on an adjustment layer, and I think it's meant to be like a build up to like the next clip. And then on the next one, you can put on MS8, and it'll continue that kind of motion. Make sure you obviously add motion tile to get rid of the black bars and stuff. And I'm not gonna be showing the example for that one. Yeah, I'm good. All right, Mia Signal. Just another signal preset. Pretty intense. It looks better in full, obviously. But I'll show how I use this. All right, next we have just another shake preset. Nothing much to say about that. Next preset, just a glow. In-use shake, probably just another shake. Yeah. I think this one has no keyframe, so it's more of like a consistent thing you can add. All right, these next two are kind of like just like a time slice transition. Has an optional heat wave you can turn on. And I believe the second one is just a slight variation to the first one. Same thing though, really. I'll show the edit I made these for. OMG Edge. I made this for my La Jeans edit. You want to duplicate your clip, throw it on there and set it to like screen or add or lighten. Usually I do screen, but any of these work really. So the edge detect has an expression to randomize the brightness, and you can use the threshold to control the lines. Pixdither Lighten. Just a one framer using Pixdither. I usually set it to lighten, but I'm sure there's plenty other blending modes that look good for it. Polo BDB. I'm gonna put that on an adjustment layer. Just a quick little blurry transition. Polo CC color correction. I use this on like IRL footage, but I guess K-pop is IRL footage. I think that looks pretty cool. Polo Flicker. Just some sort of manual flicker. Polo VHS. Nice little stylized thing. Again, with an optional signal if you don't want to cook it up too much. And it does look better on full. It doesn't look that cooked up. Yeah, it does. Poolside flare. You're gonna want to grab a black solid, throw that bad boy on there, and then set the blending mode to, usually I do screen, and you get this nice little flare overlay. And if you want to change the location of the flare, you grab the position XY and then you can drag this around wherever you want. Reek Twitch. This is just a Twitch build-up thing. RGB wide, little transition you put on an adjustment layer. Ripple. This one you want to put on an adjustment layer. Line up the keyframes like this, and you can change the center point of whatever you want the effect to be like focused on. But you have to go back a few frames to this like omega lol, and then mask it out like this. Invert it a bit and feather it, expand it, whatever. And you get this cool little rippling transition. I'll show some examples of where I've used that. Roughen just uses roughen edges with a expression on the evolution to do that. Sebi Unicolor 1 through 6 uses Colorista on an adjustment layer. Change the blending mode to color, and you get these just these cool like color palettes. I feel like I'm the only person in the world that has Colorista 2. I feel like this doesn't work for other people, so fuck it. I guess you just copy the settings if you have to. There you go. And you can use this as a one framer, or you can just keyframe the opacity on the adjustment layer to just add like colors to like some of your effects or something. Shaky cam, just a crazy shake preset. Normally I'll like maybe increase the amplitude a bit and just get rid of the last keyframe. It just gives like a constant, like just a small shaky motion. Side warp and side warp 2, these are like transitions you can put on an adjustment layer. It uses warp to kind of warp it, believe it or not. But what I like to do on this is get like a rectangle mask, mask it something like that, and just feather it a bunch, play with the expansion. And yeah, I'll show some examples of how I use this. Signal, just a simple signal preset. Small Hollow, it's a one framer you can use for glitches and stuff. Small Wave is it's a little wave warp effect. SSG4 Scan, quick scan lines preset. Stacy Scale, it's a simple scale out transition. You want to line up the apex of the graph with your transition point, and then you want to scale up your other clips to where there's no black anywhere, or you can use motion tile or however you want to do it. Stereo scale, pretty much the exact same thing. Stereo water, I use in my stereotype edit. You just want to line up the keyframes like this, and it makes a little like wavy, watery transition. I'll show where I use that. Suff form is the trapcode form preset that I used in my suffocation edit. There's not really a good way to show this one because you kind of need like a camera, but there's keyframes for the vanish points, and of course you can always play around with all of these values, but I'll show the edit. Talk Light, just a curves kind of flicker effect you can put on like the beginning of some of your clips. Talk Thing is a small transition you want to put on an adjustment layer. Line it up like that, and it's just a little blur shake curves type beat. Talk Twitch, small little twitch transition. Tom Pre is a Tom Sue inspired build up little preset thingy. It just builds up all crazy, and then on the next clip, if you want, you can put Thom Twitch, and it'll kind of finish that effect. TV Off, TV Damage preset that just has a keyframe for the turn off value. Twinkle Detect is a one framer for my Twinkle edit. Twinkle Edge, you can either put it on your clip or duplicate your clip or put it on an adjustment layer, but it just kind of does this kind of thing, ends up fading out. I'll show the edit where I used it. Twinkle Shake, just another shake preset. As always, play with the seed to get a good little motion. UL Go is like a ghosty zoom in type effect. Make sure that you change your position to wherever you want it to actually be centered up here. ULTL. This is a time displacement effect. What you're gonna have to do for this is make a new composition and make your own like matte type thing. So just make a solid, put a ramp on it, change it to radial, put it in the middle, and I think it works better with the colors inverted like that. And then you can just drag on your comp in here, turn it off, and set the map layer to that. And you get this like radial blurry transition. I'll show where I used it. Vegas, this is similar to Extract. I think you can do an adjustment layer or you can duplicate your clip. Go up here to the image contours and play with the threshold to get the pixels you want. And then from there you could change the color or add glow or something. And then you can go into the LED settings and then change the size of them. If you want them to be like really big and stuff. I'll show an example where I use that. Wham Wham is a warp bubble transition. If you want, you could graph these keyframes and make it smoother however you need it. Wonderland G1, it's a one framer for my Wonderland edit. Wonderland Levels, just a manual levels thing. Oh, Jesus. Yeet Chromatic Aberration. Some chromatic aberration for Yeet. It starts full on and then fades off. If you wanted to, you could just flip the keyframes. Yeet Shake. Believe it or not, it's a shake. YFB, I've honestly just been spamming this on the beginning of every single one of my clips, like ever. I just put it on everything. And the only thing I really change is like the shake seed to get it a little better, but it's been working for me. YFB Glitch, just a one framer, and you can play with the curves depending on the brightness of your clip. Yoon Sparkle, I think this is just another thing I put on some of my sparkle overlays. Yeah, it looks the same to be honest. Yoon CC, color correction, simple, gives it a little glow. Yuna CC, color correction. I made this one in a square aspect ratio, so the chromatic aberration is a little much, but yeah, it looks cool. Yuna Shake, probably a shake. Yeah, zoom in, lol. It zooms in. I think you just have to line up the apex with your transition point. And it zooms in. And I'm gonna spoil it for you. Zoom out lol is the same thing, except it zooms out. Just make sure that you scale your clips up or use motion tile so that there's no black on the sides. Now for the project file preset things, you just want to import these into your project however you want. You'll get this little folder thing. It'll be different for each one, so I'll have to kind of explain it, but this one you want to open the CC composition, grab all of these and paste them into your edit. For this one, the lineup is like this, and you want to make sure that the displacement map layer is set to this glitch thingy. And this one was made in a square aspect ratio at 15 FPS, so you'll have to adjust it if you want to do differently. So for each layer, you'd have to go up here, layer, solid settings, make sure it's the comp size, and then scale it right, and then go into this thingy and change this to your resolution and scale this up to it. And yeah, it's pretty fun. This next one, blooming camera, you're gonna want to go into the edit composition and grab these, throw them on here, and this uses a camera, so you want to make sure you set your layer to be 3D, and then you're probably gonna have to scale it up a bit. But basically I just tracked a real camera and put it into After Effects, so you get this cool like organic camera motion you can put on your clips. Next one, DK glitch. They're literally just a bunch of random one framers. These were made in 1080p, so if you want them to be anything else, you have to make sure you make comp size and then scale them to your composition. Yeah, I don't know, I'll show the edit. Don't do it glitch. You want to go into this edit composition, and this just has two different glitch patterns. Next one, HOTP text. You want to go into the one composition. This is a simple little text animation, and you can make it say whatever you want. So usually I just change like the first letter to like whatever I'd want it to be, and I do that on all of these layers. And then on like the full text layers, you'd type out like whatever you'd want it to say. And there you go, it's all updated. And then you can just come back into your main thing and drag the pre-comp on. Scale it up, of course, if you have to. Hurt CC, color correction, I'm guessing. Just grab them and paste them in. I guess it was made in 1080p, so make sure you go to layer, solid settings, make comp size, and then scale both the layers up to your composition size. And they're labeled top and bottom. Hurt glitch 4K. Just want to go into the edit composition. There will be footage missing, but that's on purpose. Just want to copy these into your composition and you get a glitch. Just wanna heart. This is the hearts from my just wanna edit. You want to go into the edit composition, and there's all the text from that edit is still in here, so I guess you kind of get a bunch of little text presets and stuff. But the main thing is the hearts in these little compositions. I just animated like these like simple little patterns. LMS Sparkle. This is just like a sparkle cluster that I saved. The way I'd use this is I would like pre-compose a clip or something. I'd track a null to like a subject or whatever. Then you can go in here, probably want to move these closer to the beginning. Copy them, throw them in there. line them up how you'd want, and then you can parent everything to the null so it all moves at once. And then you get these tracked sparkles. I usually put them on like earrings and stuff like that. Lucky End Fix. This one you want to go into Precomp 5. You can just copy over all of these, line them up something like that. I use this at the end of my Lucky edit, hence the name, so I'll show where I used it. Lucky Flicker. You want to go into Precomp 5, and these are really just a bunch of random clusters of like colors that flicker around. So you can go in there and just find anything really. Love Story glitch that I fixed for 4K just now, actually. Just want to grab all these, put them in, line them up, something like that. And there's a little composition here that has some text in it you could change if you wanted to. I'll show where I use this. OB effect. I also had to fix this one for 4K. You just want to grab these and line it up something like that. Pom-pom lines fix. You're gonna want to go into the CC layer, and there's a bunch of stuff in here, but I only use like these beginning layers. So you want to go here and then just trim the composition, and you can drag it back into your main. Control Alt F to size it to your composition, and then press this little knob right here. Also, if you want, you can go in here, just delete all these other ones and get rid of the opacity keyframes and just leave them all at 100. I think that looks pretty good. Yeah, line up something like this. Just a little transition. I'll show where I've used this. Poolside light leak. I want to go into the poolside composition, and then you have a bunch of light leak patterns that you can choose from. This is basically just my poolside edit, but I deleted everything but the light leaks and like some random text here and there. Poolside 2020, the same thing really, just a different film burn. Just more random patterns to pick out, and the same random text is just still turned on. And again, poolside sparkle, same thing, just all the little random sparkles that I had in that edit, along with the random text. Reek glitch. We're gonna go into the one composition, and I think there's two patterns in here. Yeah, there's just two glitch patterns. Just make sure you copy them top to bottom, paste them in, and then line them up, something like that. And then make sure that your displacement map layer is set to the glitch layer. And of course, use motion tile to fix the blacks or zoom in or whatever. Then this other pattern looks similar, but same thing really. Then there's these random two other effects down here. There's also this cool little text pattern in here. Reek text. When I head into the edit composition, this is just a simple little text animation I made for a music video. You could go in here and change the font or change what it says or whatever, but yeah, that's all it is really. Yeet DRGB. Want to go into this composition and grab the adjustment layers and line them up something like that, and you get this kind of glitchy TV turn off thing. Sometimes I will just do away with the TV and just leave the glitch there. You can also go in here and change the warp direction if the motion is just like a little off or something, but I'll show some examples where I use this. Yeet Zoom, the last one of these project file presets. You want to go into Precomp 4, grab all of these, line them up, something like this, on this little marker right here, and it's just a little zoomy, turbulent, glowy transition. I'll show some examples of where I've used this. Okay, so I lied. There's a few more of these to go through. Ugly Truth transition, believe it or not, is from my Ugly Truth edit. This one was made in 1080p, so if you want it to be anything other than that, you can either fix it in here, or you can drag your composition on, scale it up, and then make sure you tick this little box right here, and then just find the lineup. This is just a simple transition. I'll show where I used it. Next one's Scat Rainbow. For this one, you're gonna want to either go into the edit composition, and this was made in 1:1 aspect ratio, so you can again either fix it in here or drag the composition onto here, scale it to your composition, press this little knob, and it'll work. This one just kind of has those film burns with some color adjustment layers and signal and shit. I'll show the example where I used it. This next one, Scat Sparkle, same thing pretty much, just sparkle patterns from that edit. The next one, VHS. For this one, you want to grab Precomp 3, put it in your composition, and make sure you tick this little box right here, and it's just a VHS transition. Next one, NewJeans Glitch. For this one, you want to go into the edit composition, grab your adjustment layers, line them up. Probably something like this or like that, I don't remember. And this was made in 1080p, so make sure you fix all your layers to whatever your resolution is, and you get a nice little glitch. That is nice. And now the actual last one, NewJeans Sparkle. You want to go into Precomp 2, and they're just sparkle patterns. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for buying if you do. If you have any questions, feel free to message me on Twitter or Discord or email me or call my phone. Just kidding, don't do that. Bye.
Hey, thanks for buying. If you buy it, anything, email me or message me on Discord or call my phone. Actually, wait, don't call my phone.